Greetings, Evans. Today I'm going to talk on something very important that might help in your life, and this is something called fear. Because in my past couple of sessions, I've had a couple of different areas of problems that somebody is looking into, and then when we actually investigate, we find the root cause is some kind of a fear. And the fears are all different because everybody's cases are different. So when we investigate it cannot be a common kind of thing. It goes to that. So my reflection has been in a couple of these sessions on this term called fear. So I'm sharing a few details that might help you. It's very important if you get very deep into this, you can reflect in your own life and see how it can help you. Now, fears are of many different types. There is something called rational fear, something called irrational fear. Rational fear is the normal fear that we all get, and it's okay to get it. It's very natural. It is a God induced system. It's inbuilt system that has been designed by the divine, by the creator in a certain way, so that it can protect you. Like the fear of the fear of thieves. If you're going on an isolated road and if you find something suspicious, you have fear that you might be robbed or something might happen, and you change your way or you take a different direction. That fear has protected you. Or if you're walking on the street and a vehicle is coming from behind and you hear the sound and you just move aside because you feel it's very close, and it zooms past of you. So that fear actually saves us. Or you are walking and you see a snake, suddenly there is a fear. If there is no fear, you might go and entangle with it. That's not the case. There is this inbuilt fear which you know that it can actually harm you. So that fear triggers a response which you step back and you protect yourself. That is called rational fear. That's all fine. We have many rational fears. Rational fears are only momentary. It just comes at that moment, protects you, and just disappears. You see, once you cross the snake and go ahead, you don't brood over it. It's come, you have a reflex and it goes off. So these are all meant to protect us. But I'm talking more about irrational fears. The fear of the unknown. There is an unknown kind of fear which you really do not know what you're scared of. There's a fear that is lurking all the time in our lives, and we do not know. Most of the time it even does not present itself as fear. It's a lurking kind of a feeling all the time that something wrong might happen or something might go wrong, and you are overprotective. Like you are having an impending fear of something might happen to the family, and then you are all the time worried about children or your family member. What will happen? These fears are something that comes from very deep rooted psychic impressions. For example, it can be very deep, and it can be simple fears also lurking itself in very, like, for example, the fear of insecurity, the loss of security. You feel that you're going to lose that security, or somebody who's being in your life, who's keeping you secure, that feeling of losing that. So that fear is there. And the fear of losing a precious loved one in a relationship, in whatever way. Either it could be like a separation, or even death. That also is there. An impending doom. It's a lurking fear of losing someone precious or something precious. Even it can be a materialistic object, losing something that is very dear to you, your house, your property. And it could even be losing of your abstracts, like losing your name, fame, your reputation, your identity. Even sometimes loss of this identity, this personalities. Most of the time in the spiritual journey, when you're working, you'll see loss of this personality happening. I've experienced all this. It is a feeling that you're losing something of a part of yourself. It is actually the ego that is dissolving. Ego means the identity. The more the identity, I am so and so, I am so and so, the me, mine, I, me, myself, all these kind of feelings starts dissolving. So anything related to that keeps melting and moving away. So inside you will know, because it's an abstract quality, you can't see these things. It's happening within, in your conscious. So when it's happening in your psyche, you have a subconscious feeling that something is going away from me, I'm losing something. So actually you are losing for good, but we are having this habit of holding on to things. It's mine. That identity itself we are losing. So we are losing that personality. Most of the time it's our fake built-in personalities that we have. We carry so many identities. But when you are spiritually ascending, you'll see these identities are being taken away slowly from you, little by little it's going on. So the me mind starts dissolving. That time there can be another fear that I'm losing something. I don't know what it is, but I'm fearing I'm losing myself. See the terms when people talk this only, there is a big hint. I feel like I'm losing myself. This is that. This is one aspect of it, not just one. So in my personal sessions, we keep on discussing, and they use their awareness also at the same time while I'm doing that, and then they actually go into it and sense it. They can feel it. Okay, what's happening, and then say, yeah, that's the thing. So once you catch hold of the culprit, it's very easy to get over it or heal it or overcome that, transcend it, and all that. Most of the time, it cannot be seen. So it affects all areas of life because it's an impending feeling. See, now this how can you explain? This loss of the ego which is happening on the spiritual journey, we do not know, but we feel we are losing something. And how that reflects in our daily life is we look outside. We look at physical things and it reflects in our physical, but actually it is an abstract thing that's going on. So there are various these kind of fears that keeps on happening in our life in a regular basis, especially on this path. On the path of awareness, we watch everything. So we become aware of all these things. That's very important because becoming aware of this is very important, or the journey can be very confusing. Because one is you do not know what's happening to you. You always have an impending feeling that something wrong is happening. Most of the time. I'm very sure that most of us do feel this. There's something wrong, something not right. Something is not as it should have been in this life. Because there is an impression that we feel that if we walk the spiritual path, all should become goody goody, everything should be nice. Then why is this not getting nicer? Because there is a lot of dirty work that's getting released from within. And we don't see that. We don't see it because these cannot be seen. So if you develop your intellect, if you sharpen your intellect, if you sharpen your awareness and look into this, can help you in many ways. So this platform will, if you keep on doing all these simple techniques and methods that I'm sharing with you to sharpen your awareness, you will see that gradually you are able to move into that space and identify it. And the moment you identify, now the thing is that if I identify, what do I do with it? All this kind of fear. And I was telling you, the fear of all many big small, many fears are there, countless. But the father of all the fear is one, the fear of death. All these leads to that. All you can say, all these are coming from that. The fear of death, ultimate, it is the fear of losing this body. That when I say death, it is this physical death. We all are scared of this physical death because we know someday we are going to die. So this impending doom also is there. Most of the time it is people who are unable to accept this fact. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you relate with all these things and when you understand this, when you understand what life is very clearly, these fears will start moving away like the clouds move away. It is only because we are not rooted in the real spirituality. Real spirituality is what? Understanding who you are. I always tell three questions. Who are you? Who are you? When I ask people, they say, they are prompted to say, oh, who am I? They know that I shouldn't say I am XYZ. So they will say, I'm not this body, I'm not this soul. Okay. Gyan hai. Experientially? No, not yet. Okay, good. You have that intellectual knowledge, good. So you are not that. You understood. You are not the body and mind. Okay. What? Say, second question, where are we coming from? I am coming from the source. If you say I am coming from this lifetime, that lifetime, before, if you go on tracing, you will find only one source, from where you left your home. That's the home. Paramdham, you can say. You left that home and so you remember your home. Oh, I have left from there. So I am coming from there. Okay. This, Gyan. Experientially, not fully. Okay, no problem. Intellectually, Third question, where are you going from here now? I'm going, where am I going? Where am I going? Most people are confused. So, after this, where are you going? After this, perhaps another life? Okay. After that, perhaps another life? After that, then they come to know, I cannot keep on going for lifetime to lifetime. Then they say, no, I don't want so many lifetimes. Then where are you going? I want to go back. Where? From where I came from. Leading back to the second question, where did you come from? The source. So my journey is actually to go back there. Oh, that's a reminder. See, when you are very crystal clear in these three questions all the time, I always tell this, keep these three things always in mind, because you are not here for just doing spiritual practices, doing this that, and keeping your time pass, and going things going, and you are trying to use spirituality just to move away all these obstacles of life so that you can enjoy life more. That's not the real purpose. This platform is always to remind you of your real purpose. So, in every video, if you see very carefully, you'll see me talking about this again and again and reminding. At the end, there will always be this reminder who you are, where have you come from, and where are you heading. You will be reminded of it. So, that is my whole purpose of doing these things, to keep you reminded of your real purpose, not to get lost in anything religion, spirituality, anything. Don't get lost in it. Do everything, be in religion, be in spirituality, but know who you are, where you are going, where have you come from, where you come, you are going back there. So when these things are clear, now when these things are clear, oh, I have come from there, I am not this body, I am not this identity, so okay, I have to go. When you know this, you'll know what death is. It will be in your being that, okay, I am not here permanently, I've come and I have to go. And then life seems different, and this is real spirituality. When you are knowing, in the knowing, not just gyan, in the experiential knowledge, because every time you feel, how do you feel? This awareness will make you root into that space of awareness where you are actually aware of who you are and where you're going, and who you really from where have you really come from. You will always know that you are not this body, you are not this mind. Saying it is not enough. Feel it experientially in every aspect of life. When you see relationship, when you have when you intermingle with anyone, the situations of life, you look at it, it's all moving, it's all transitioning, nothing is same. Today the situation is something, tomorrow it changes. Today there is rain, suddenly there will be sunlight. It is day, it will be night. It keeps on moving. So one person I was talking to, she was a dentist and at a good position, but she was in this phase of not understanding something gloom, I don't know. And she's connected to Nityanand Bhagwan. So she was asking me related to how can. So I was just telling, see, look at this one very simple thing. If you're finding it difficult, it might help you also. If you're finding it difficult to understand who am I and how to stay rooted in this, I am not this body. Just think about these things. You are there in your childhood. Go just think. Right now also, just think. I want you to just think. Just imagine, become aware more than even think. Become aware of, as a child, how are you playing around in the playground, in the school, with your parents, whatever memory comes. I don't want you to see that as a child moving around. Become that child. From inside the body, you are peeping through the eyes and looking at the world. What was this experience as you were seeing? You're running here, running there, playing this, doing that, selling that, having a gala time and all that. Are you experiencing that? You remember that. Okay, now after that you grew up into a adolescent. In your adolescent time, in your high school and all, how were you doing? What were the activities? What is the quality of life? You can experience it right now. Okay, and then you move ahead into teenage. When you went into college, just have an awareness of how you're going around. Quickly you can see your friends and how you moved around college. You went out, freaked out, all those things, parties and all those things. And then you move into your adult life. As you become an adult, you become more mature, and then life was different suddenly. So if you're not married, you can think till now what's happening. If you're a teenager till now, and if you have got into adulthood, just think now. Okay, after that you got married. When you got married, life was different. Look through the eyes of that being which was there during the marriage, teen, adolescent, childhood, and see how life was. You can see, okay, this is how the life was going. Now if you come back to now what you are, so there is a being that is seeing through the eyes all the time. Okay, so you'll see in the childhood, the baby changed into a the toddler changed into the small young child, and then it changed into adolescent, then into teenager, then into adult. Body was changing consistently. The shape and size of the body kept changing. Your voice changed, your texture changed, your personality changed, your hair changed, everything kept changing. all the time. And you were witnessing these changes, and you were moving around with this body, experiencing it. So you can see continuously from the time from the you came out of the womb till now, you have been every single moment changing. But there is one thing that has not changed, not absolutely changed. That is you, the soul. The experience of the soul was as mature as it is even in the childhood. You can observe that right now. If you see, even as a child, you were running around everything. There was a maturity of that soul that was seeing everything. But the ego consciousness were involved in it. So when the awareness is in the soul, you can feel that right now. But as a child, you were in the ego consciousness. So you had a very limited kind of understanding. And then as a teenager, adolescent and adult and whatever, with the personalities, you can see the personalities changed with every aspect of life. New titles came, new ways of presentation came, new masks came. As a professional you were different, as a school student you were different, as a college student you were different, and now you are different. The way people related to you, the way you relate to everything, you can see, notice it's changing. It is anitya. It is always ever changing, but there is one thing that did not change, nitya. That is yourself. That is even there right now. It is experiencing, and it is not aging. See this, it is not aging, it has no age. It is just that consciousness. What is aging? The body is aging. What is changing? The feelings are changing. What is changing? The emotions are changing. You're seeing it. The thoughts are changing. The beliefs are changing. Conditioning changing. Sometimes you're holding on to something. You're releasing something through sadhana or whatever. Then you're holding on to new beliefs. All these things are gathering and being let loose of in your outer koshas. But you, the bliss body, the Anandamaya kosha, is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Now you can't experience that Ananda. See, the Anandamaya kosha is Ananda, means bliss. And the bliss that never dies, it is Nitya. That is why Nityananda. Eternal bliss that can never die. So now also, if you practice a lot of this awareness takes you what? It takes you from ego consciousness, it just shifts you into soul consciousness. That is what I say, shifting into awareness. Shifting into awareness means I am right now not in my awareness, I am not in my soul consciousness, I am not in the who am I experience, I am somebody else. When I am somebody else, I succumb to all these fears, because all these fears are in these koshas. It is in these bodies that the fears are. Are you getting it? So, how to get off? You can't sit in that and solve the problem. You can't sit in a polluted, dirty mind or polluted, honky-ponky mind and try to find a solution in that, because you can't sit in the gutter and find cleanliness. You have to come out of it, you have to cleanse yourself. So that you have to leave that space means you have to leave your mind. If your consciousness, please understand this very carefully, if your consciousness is consistently in your manomaya kosha, in your mind all the time, you are experiencing the thoughts and all the waves in that mind. Are you getting it? You say, there is lot, I cannot focus, I cannot. Because your consciousness is there. Shift that consciousness from there out. How do I shift? Move into awareness. Shift into awareness. I've taught many times this. You can include yourself in the live that I do every Sunday. There's a short practice in the end that I do. A very 5 to 10 minutes, and it's so quick and so immediate, that experience is, that they realize what this thing is about. Then I ask them to just stretch that. Keep stretching it. And whatever practice, whatever faith, whatever you do, keep doing that. But bring this awareness into that practice. Today I was talking to someone and they said, I am never feeling that. I am not feeling my chakra. Whenever I think of my chakra, I said, that's the problem. See, you're thinking of your chakra. If you think, you will have problems. Thinking is manomaya kosha. You're not supposed to think. You are supposed to become aware of that chakra. That's a different terminology altogether. The experience also is different. Most of the time we sit and think of anahata, the way it is. We are thinking. It should not happen in your manomaya kosha sadhana, all the meditation practice. It should happen in your higher consciousness, in your subtle body, in your awareness. You should become aware of that chakra. Are you getting it? When I say awareness, it is a conscious experience. It's a consciousness that goes there, and you're experiencing it rather than thinking of it. When you think, you don't go deep, because many people tell, I'm trying to do it on this chakra, but it's not happening. Think means you are in the mind body, and when you're thinking, when you're concentrating. See, concentration is activity of the mind. Don't concentrate, become aware. When you concentrate on the chakra, because you are in the mind body, you also have thoughts in that mind body. It's polluted. That meditation practice becomes polluted with the thoughts. So all the time you are doing your practice and observe, you will have thoughts also at the same time. That is not a purified way of practicing. When you go into a certain zone of your meditation, whichever meditation or even Raj Yoga, if you are concentrating on your own, many people just concentrate on their third eye, those who do not have any paths. Simple meditation, they concentrate. So when you are concentrating, don't concentrate, don't put your mind here, mind will start thinking. Put your awareness here, become aware of this. It's a different. So if you just do these simple things that I'm on and often telling in awareness, because this has tremendously helped me, this has tremendously enlightened my path. It has brought substance and life into the path, whichever path. Even if you are into scripture reading or something, you have to have life, you have to put awareness. Your awareness has to be there, not your mind. We read with the mind, we have to read with awareness. Big difference. I can show it to you, because this happens. I can make you experience it, and this has happened in the sessions, personal sessions. This happened because I make them experience. I'm not sitting there talking like this video. There we go into that experience of whatever problems, whatever I'm telling, the solution is this. You are experiencing it there, and then they have a conviction, yes, this works. So this experience right now also, when I'm telling you, you have got to simultaneously experience it. When you experience it, you know there is a result. And many people have just gone and done back their meditation and said, wow, we didn't know this. Went deep. It has to help you. Awareness has to help you. Without awareness, it is dry. Anything that you do in life without awareness, it's dry. So learn to get more and more aware. And the moment you shift into this awareness, what I said, from the ego consciousness and the mind and ego is nothing different. They are same. They are brothers. They interdepend on each other. The moment you shift into awareness, what we are doing is, the whole attention from here, we are throwing it into our soul conscious. And the soul is now watching. The soul is watching. That's a big difference. It becomes an observer. We say, get into Drishta Bhav, get into Sakshi Bhav, but we do not know how to get into that. We go in the mind and we think, oh, I'm not the doer. Let me observe this. No, you are thinking as an observer. You got to become the observer. How do you become the observer? Who is the observer? The soul is the observer, not your mind. Soul observes whom? Soul observes the mind. So you have to get into your consciousness, have to move into the soul. When you move into the soul, you can now observe the mind, because you have detached from the mind. Are you getting this very clear? So don't confuse. When we say Drishta Bhav, you cannot operate from the mind. It's very simple. So when you are in the soul consciousness, and now when you are observing, you can observe this fear. You detach, and then you come to know, oh my God, I am not changing. Everything around me is changing. Everything is changing around me. I am not changing. I am Nitya. I'll tell you something. You experience aging. Where does the subconscious fear of death come? See, I told you everything goes to death. Something that you are, one day morning you are going into the mirror, early morning. White hair. White hair. Where does this come from? Oh, take a scissor. Then you are pondering, oh my God, aging. Am I aging? Then you go, la, 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 la. Then somebody tells you, you have got white hair here. Hey, where it is? Let it be, And then you go and dye it off. And make it black. I've seen even something like 70-year-old teenager. 70-year-old teenager is somebody who has nice mustache, thick mustache. You can see the wrinkles and everything. Very audible, very clear, and sometimes a bald patch and all, like even I have patch and all. And then black mustache. you know, you can see that the body is somewhere in the 70s, but then you get confused. 70s or 20s? 70s or 20s? Because this looks like 20, this looks like 70. So people get confused. Even sometimes they themselves, when they're looking in the mirror, okay, this is not suiting, I think. This has got black, but this is white here. All this happens because we are unable to come into the truth, into the reality that my body is going to change, my body is going to dissolve. No acceptance. No. Are you going to die? Yeah, I'll die one day. Are you getting old? Yeah, I know. But that doesn't show in your lifetime because you're not accepting everything, you're not accepting. No, I can't accept this. Why can't you not accept it? You might say, no, I accept it. No, then it has to show in your. That's what I mean by doing what you mean. What you are inside, you should be outside. What you mean, you should say. This is what Nityananda always said. What you mean, you say. And what you say, you should mean. Means what you are inside, you should be outside also. So if you say, I have no fear of growing old, then there should be no hurry to change this. The body is going to go. We have to come to this conclusion where this knowing that yes, this is anitya. It is changing. It is going to dissolve. Once you come in terms with it, I am okay growing old. And this is not just of 60 years, 50 years. This is even the problem of teenagers. A teenager is so worried when they enter into 20s. Oh, I'm becoming an adult. When they are finishing their 25s and 28, they say, oh my god, 30 is old age, I'm gone. We have all been through that, right? And then that fear. And then 30 comes. And then 30 is going on. And then you say, I'm old enough, I'm old enough. But you don't know, actually, to a 60-year-old, you are telling, you are very young, yeah, 30 years. What great, you still have so much of time. You are 30 years lesser than me. But that guy is, oh, my Javani is gone. I have going into Budapest. Actually, Budapest has not come, but that person is thinking old age is come. And by the time 40 is reaching, it's like, oh my god, it's a big dilemma. And imagine after 40s, that is why it is called midlife crisis. People are stuck in that. And then there are people who are very proud of their young age, because many people used to tease me in spirituality only. Old guy, because they are very young to me. So they thought that youngness will always be. But today, if you see, their youngness is going. It goes because it has to go. Once what the pride that we have of this body, it's strong or it's all black and so fresh and tight skin and everything. One day you'll see one wrinkle coming here, white hairs coming, and it will show up. That time you'll realize, oh, okay, I call that guy a Buddha, and today I am going into Buddha. We have to go through these phases. There is nothing to rejoice. What rejoice? How can you rejoice in the temporariness which is going to be snatched away? All these things that we have, all these possessions that we have, the name, fame, popularity, whatever we have, is going to go one day. But the suffering comes when we don't relate with it. When we can't practice what we preach. It's very easy to say, but we can't settle in that. And when we can't settle in that, we make all the useless attempts to hold on to that. We make all the useless attempts to hold on to this body and keep it in its vigor, keep it in its young age. See what all people do, including facial surgeries, cosmetic surgeries, what all, just to preserve themselves. I was reading a news the other day. It was like so disgusting. It is like somebody is going into freeze modes. People, when they have some terminal illness and they know that there is no cure for it, there is something called freezing the body, and it can be freezed for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, where life is still there. That means you are in a suspended animation. The soul is suspended, so that after maybe probably 20 years later a cure comes, or 30 years later the cure comes, and we can then induce back the life and treat it. What nonsense. What all we do to hold on the body, you can see this. And the suffering that comes, it comes to this. If you just understand who am I, where am I going, the thing is clear. You can't hold on to it. And life becomes so simple and easy. You know that, okay, your transition, the body is there, but you are not dying. Can you see that? The childhood experience that you had. the teenager experience, the today's adult experience that you had. It's so joyful, it's so relishing. At every age, you are still young and fresh, eternal. So when you drop your body also, you will be there. You are not going anywhere. Are you getting it? What drops is that temporary thing that you gathered from the earth, the Pancha Tattva, and you are putting it back into the Pancha Mahabhutas. Back into where you took it from. You borrowed, you built up a castle, this body, you build up the home, and you build up properties, everything. You build up a name and title. Everything you will have to give up one day. Giving up gives jitters. Because the fondness with that, oh, itna mehnat karke maine banaya. You do not know. It is a spider story every time. You build up a web and somebody destroys it. The spider keeps on building the web again and again. This is how we also keep building again and again. Once you understand this, once you understand who you are and where are you come from and where are you going, you will not fall into this play of creating this web again and getting caught up in your own web. Are you seeing that? So it all comes from there. So once you understand this, the fear starts dissolving. And then you are able to rest in peace the moment you are in awareness. So all the time that you are in awareness, you are in a peaceful state. The moment you drift back, you have all these problems. So keep on practicing, dear ones, this awareness. And if you have still some stuckness or something, you can always consult me for the personal consultation where we can sit and actually do it. Because everybody's problem is different. Fear is common, but aspects are different. And we can go and tackle that is if you wish, or if this video can help, do practice it as much as possible. And see you soon with some other beautiful video. Until then, beautiful souls, stay blessed. Much divine love and light.